Ha! No. Yeah, really hate to say it, but we are never going to see another 4-star in Honkai Star Rail. I will be very surprised at this point if I am wrong about this, and I would love to be wrong about this. I just don't think I'm going to be. They have made it very evident that 4-stars are no longer a priority, and instead have been replaced with free 5-stars. We all know this. It is incredibly obvious. This is the model that they are choosing to continue. They have not made a 4-star since Moz in version 2.5. 2.5, guys. It has genuinely been that long. 4-stars just are not a thing we can expect in this game anymore. And that is really, really unfortunate, because I truly do believe that they add a lot to the game. And that's what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about why we are never going to see another one, probably ever. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become a YouTube member down below, and with that said, let's get into it. Let's pause and take a brief word from our sponsor, Gamesco. As Star Rail constantly releases characters better than the last, players won't have enough Jades to keep up. This is where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Gamesco. This is an all-in-one marketplace for all your favorite games and services. They offer top-ups at a more affordable price than in-game, and can even activate your first top-up bonus if you haven't used it already. It's also totally safe, not requiring any of your login information, and having a money-back guarantee. All you have to do is click the bundle you want, put in your server and UID, and your top-up will appear in-game shortly after. On top of all of this, they offer top-ups for more than HSR, having offers for ZZZ, Genshin, Wuthering Waves, and so much more. You can use my link in the description or pinned comment to start saving now. Thank you to Gamesco for sponsoring, and now, let's get back to the video. So, I always have to preface this conversation with 5-stars being free and given out to all players if they are playing during that set period of time is objectively better than 4-stars from a gameplay perspective. You are getting a character that you can now build a team around, you are getting a DPS, well, probably a DPS, for absolutely free, and you can just make them work with what's on your account, or maybe you only need to pull one specific character to make that team work, and now you have a team for like the next 4 updates or something that will be able to competitively clear content. That is objectively massive, because 4-stars in the time that they were in this game never really offered that sort of leeway that you are seeing from these free 5-stars like Archer or like DHPT, who has now been a staple of sustains and has just been consistently helpful for so many players. So yeah, having a free 5-star character being given out to the player base, that is objectively better. Because with 4-stars, a lot of 4-stars have their true value locked behind E6. The problem with that is, you can genuinely win a 50-50 or lose a 50-50. You can get an entire 5-star character in the time it will take you to get E6 of a 4-star. I have this notorious story where I spent 70 pulls trying to get a single copy of Hanya, and I ended up with a Silver Wolf before I got a goddamn Hanya. That is not good. And with that being the case, you still have to invest resources to get 4-stars in most cases, and they have consistently not had the same usefulness that you see from 5-star characters, and especially not compared to the free 5-stars we've been given. Like, we can look at ratio compared to March 7th Hunt. Yeah, March 7th Hunt ended up having a lot of usefulness throughout her time in the game. She ended up being a great sub-DPS option, and she also ended up being a very, very good break character, surprisingly. But you still probably got a lot of use out of ratio because he was a great DPS from the time he came out in 1.6 all the way to when Fei Xiao came out in version 2.5. He had a pretty good period of being extremely powerful, and March 7th never really got to that same height, in my opinion. And that's the thing, March 7th was a free option as well, but either way, if we're looking at the comparative peak of their values here, it is a very, very different. And then we can look at the future, which is Archer and DHPT, and that's just a completely different level than anything else we've seen from getting free characters. 4-stars, requiring E6 to make them even remotely usable, and then in a lot of cases, these characters do not have a true niche, or do not have a true static place in the game, is basically just a death sentence. You do not see that same problem with the free 5 stars, because we see the DPS Archer and Ratio, who you need to build around them. They are the center point of your team, and they are a little bit flexible. Archer, you really only needed Sparkle and you were basically set. Dr. Ratio, he needed a little bit more, but I digress, he was still pretty good overall. And DHPT, as a sustain, can once again be plug and played anywhere. The value here is just completely different. And with that in mind, it becomes harder to justify designing a 4-star. I think what really makes this whole conversation hurt a bit more is that 4 stars were genuinely improving a lot in their design the last time we saw any. We saw Misha, yeah, that wasn't a great one. But then around that, we also saw Gallagher, who was fighting for the best sustain in the game as a 4-star. We saw March 7th Hunt, an incredibly versatile character with a lot of strength and great usability as a sub DPS, and in the future as a break DPS. And Moz, a min-maxer's dream, a phenomenal character as a sub DPS, and probably one of the more unique designs we had seen at that point in time. These characters were incredibly unique, and really had more defining characteristics than we had seen from even some of the 5 stars at that point. The big worry with 4 stars is, yeah, you can make them unique, but if they're still bad, then what's the point? That was kind of what the experience was with Misha, who has a very, very cool mechanic, but it is ultimately useless since it is incredibly hard to make actually good in any way, shape, or form. March 7th Hunt, Moz, Gallagher, they didn't have these issues. They were simply well-designed characters with a lot of potential to actually be good. They were not a gimmick, they were meant to be solid characters. I think part of that is the fact that they were not designed to be main DPS, and hey, if we were to never see another 4-star main DPS, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that is a worthy trade-off if it means we get consistently well-designed sustains, supports, and sub-DPS characters that are 4 stars. I think that's a perfectly adequate trade-off, but ever since those 3 characters came out, we haven't seen any more 4 stars, and it is partially because of how good they were. These 3 characters were providing such an immense value to players everywhere, to the point that they ended up becoming options that were more ideal than even some 5 stars available. And as a free-to-play gacha game, HSR cannot really allow that. So, it then becomes, do you just keep pumping out 4 stars that are nowhere near as good, and then they just exist there, you still get your 5-star revenue? Or, do you cut out 4 stars completely, and then replace them with free characters, that way your players are still getting some value by not having to pull, and this way, if they want more value, it'll always have to come from the 5-star characters that you have on your banners. From the business perspective, I completely understand it, but at the same time, I always have my one specific argument that I genuinely think makes sense. I have talked about this extensively before, but everybody is somebody's favorite character. There is always a market for making somebody from the game into a character who is playable. At the same time, you can make a new character. It doesn't matter if it's like Scrimblow McBimblow. As long as the character exists, people will be interested because it is a shiny new character. That is a simple truth of this game. Even meta players. I know multiple meta players who see new character and are interested. And yes, that can even apply to 4 stars. This is what I'm mainly talking about. I do not care about this from a gameplay perspective. Because if you're looking at this purely from a gameplay perspective, absolutely free 5 stars are better. It is no contest that free 5 stars are better, because they automatically bring that higher value and you're getting them at no value. That is absolutely huge. I still think, however, that 4 stars should have a place in the game. Yeah, we have a lot of characters that are really good, so a lot of 4 stars, you would need to make them insane, or you need to make them highly specified for them to get any usage. But that is okay. There are a lot of characters who could be very, very popular, who would be beloved if you put them in the game in some way, shape, or form, even if it is as a 4-star, and they have not done it. These are going to be the characters like Screw'em. Screw'em is a big example of one, and I know people are expecting the 5-star version. Guys, something is better than nothing with Screw'em. And even if he gets a 5-star version later on, SPs are more popular than ever. They are more common than ever. We see Evernight, Mordenax Blade, Silverwolf level 999. At this point, Kafka's gonna get an SP2, I imagine. Because all of the Stellaron hunters need to have some sort of presence in the game because they are so important to the story. So, with that in mind, Screw'em could just get an SP into a 5-star, and that would be perfect, and at that point, he would probably be the new strongest character in the game, new strongest support, new strongest sustain, whatever he ends up being. But a 4-star version right now, or within the next time he shows up, it would genuinely be a wonderful thing for a lot of people, because you finally get to play as Screw'em. You get to see him fighting. You get to run around with him in the overworld. You get to build him. You get to see his amazing Eidolon art. From a gameplay experience perspective, adding characters like this is in fact going to be a positive. This extends to a character like Kuchiba as well. Now, the thing with Kuchiba is, she is a character who, if you have played the story, there is something up with her. She has a lot of potential to still grow and kinda have an influence far more beyond what a 4-star would have on the main story. So I can understand why she wouldn't have been put into the game as a 4-star yet. She still has a lot of untapped potential, and if they want to do more with her and make her a far bigger part of the story, then it is once again understandable that she has not been made into that 4-star form yet. It would still be nice though, and that's the main point I'm getting at. If she ends up not being like this all-powerful destroyer of worlds, like she's not secretly an Aeon or someone really important to the story of Planet Arcadia, then yeah, why not make her into a 4-star? She's a cool character. I know a lot of people like her, and I know a lot of people would love to have her available in some way, shape, or form. Yes, I'm mainly talking about me. Please, dear God, give me Kuchiba. Having her as an option in this game, having her as an option to pull, would actually bring up banner sales, because some people would love to pull on the banner with her available, just because she is available on it. That's the most recent example, but even then, we still have other options. You remember General Huayan? And then do you remember Shibahan? Those are other examples of characters that a lot of people would love to get their hands on. Shibahan especially, having another cameo in the story during version 3.8. So many players, so many people on Twitter were so happy to see her back. They loved getting to see her have some sort of impact in the story, having her have a presence. That sort of love is honestly part of the beauty of HSR. You can make almost anything in this game, and somebody in your audience is going to love it. You have such a wide variety of players, and that is part of the argument that I always make, is that it's not a joke when I say that everybody is somebody's favorite character. There are people who truly loved Scott. There's a guy on Twitter who draws Scott aura farming constantly, and those posts get so many likes and views, bro. This is such a big part of these gacha games, is that you can make a character for anybody, and somebody will resonate with it. So having just the option to run around as them, to just have them on your account, to look at them, to learn in their lore section, it is such a overall positive addition to the game. And I feel like the reason that a lot of people are against it, or I see so many people against it, is because it's not even the vocal minority, but it's just the fact that a lot of people in these spaces are going to be meta-oriented players. They are going to be more try-hard players, more, I don't want to say sweaty because I don't want to be mean, but like that's just the term for it. it is going to be a lot of people who have endgame as their priority. Some people who just don't even play the story, like they skip through the story entirely because they just don't care, they want the Jades. I feel like that is a large amount of the people who will more weigh in on this conversation, and I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if just abandoning 4 stars was the right choice if we look at it from anything other than just a endgame perspective or just a combat perspective. Looking back on all these reasons I listed, I think from a player experience perspective, 4 stars are genuinely a positive thing. There's always going to be somebody who's going to want whatever new character is coming out, and if you were to slap a 4-star on that banner, a new character for them to experience, to get, and it's somebody that they actually like too, which is probably pretty likely, that's honestly pretty good. That's amazing value, and that's something that a lot of players can really enjoy when they pull for their next big 5-star that they want. This is a matter of purely just the overall gameplay experience being enhanced by having these specific characters, I think. This is something that really does matter to me personally. I'm sure a few of you know this, but I'm sure there are many who don't. I pivoted my channel away from doing kind of more, I guess, silly stuff, is the way to put it. I was a much more casual creator, and that is what I love doing. I think I still have a bit of that mindset, even despite the fact that, yeah, I know a lot about this game now. Yeah, I know how to make an optimal build. I know what the purpose of Eagle set is. I know the advantages of running Eagle, Vaughn. I can look at a character leak and be able to come up with what their best relic set should be, what their ideal teammate situation is. Yeah, I can do all of that. But I'm also one of those few creators who actually really enjoys the story of Honkai Star Rail. I look forward to it every update. I like seeing what the new event is going to be, and if it's going to be a fun one, if it's going to be a multiplayer one, any of those things. Those casual aspects of the game are still important to me. And I think that's what this always comes down to, is 4 stars and free 5 stars is literally a matter of casual versus competitive mindsets, I feel like. And it's funny, because there are people on both sides who do not embody those things. But I feel like that's ultimately what it comes down to, because there are going to be a lot of people who do not care about the meta, who are going to pull whatever they want and are going to just try and pull everybody no matter what. And those are the type of people who will see a new 4-star and be truly interested in it and enjoy being able to get them on this account that they are playing on. Then there are going to be the players who are trying to zero cycle, who are trying to get into MOC 12, like they're trying to clear MOC 12 for the first time, they're trying to unlock anomaly arbitration, such a wide variety of things. And those are the people who are going to see a new character for absolutely free, a new 5-star, and are going to think, yes, this is exactly what I need, exactly what I want. I don't have to invest more resources, now I can get the next thing that I want, or now I can save a little bit. It is a complete difference in mindset. It is how we as a player base have so fundamentally split. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are enjoyers of both meta, endgame content, really try-harding, as well as the story, the casual experience, getting to read lore, all that good stuff. But the overall community is not like that. There is a very, very key divide there. And I feel like that's ultimately what this conversation always comes down to. That's a whole other issue that I am not going to talk about today. But me personally, I would like to see 4 stars again. I do think they have a lot of value, and I do think it would be nice to see them, just in terms of making the game feel more complete, making it feel more alive, giving you more options to just have fun. Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to happen, because free 5 stars have gotten way better reception than 4 stars ever did, seemingly. They are continuing to push the free 5 stars because now Gilgamesh is on the way, and I imagine by the end of 4.x, we will receive at least one more free character in some way, shape, or form, whether it be a Golden Companion Spirit, another Selector, or just another free character in general. No matter what it ends up being, free 5 stars have been the way. It has been the way that most of the community has been able to enjoy and has gotten the most value out of, and hey, that's fair. because either way, it is still good for the players. I just wish we got to see a bit more of that fun aspect. It would be nice, because, yeah, I really liked 4 stars. I'd like seeing them, I'd like getting them. It would be nice to have them back, is all. Well, that was a bit of a depressing one. I don't know, this is something I've wanted to talk about for a very long time. I've never really found the time for it, or I never really wanted to do it because I felt like it was just going to be a cesspool of hatred and disappointment and people yelling at each other. But this is just one of those times where I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. This is a topic that just came to mind, it stood out, and I decided to follow through on it. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. I feel like this is going to be a bit of an interesting one to look through, but just be civil, please. Alright, well, I hope you all enjoyed. I've got plenty more good videos coming out soon, so I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye!